was a freaky sound. Right. I've had an idea for a while and I keep on forgetting to film it. And it's a reason why, if you look at how crazy everything's going in the world right now, and you think, wow, it's just getting more crazy, more crazy, more crazy. What are they going to do next? And I really think that the pinnacle, the acme of this whole situation will be that everyone will be expecting some kind of eureka moment where bingo, Yahtzee, oh, we expose something great. And what will actually happen is it'll be a big, massive foot on the neck, a big, massive slap on the face. You have no power. And the powers that shouldn't be will exert their forces, and they'll basically slap it into a submission and explain to us, well, they won't have to. It will be explained to us quite quickly that all the things we had in place about you can't do this, you can't do that, the laws here. Remember how I've said many times the law is just the injustice system to let them off? Well, when they no longer need this injustice system to help them out, when they can just come across and be totalitarian off the mark, then why do they need that system? They can just say, here's my friend, he's a prince of whatever it is country, he's a prolific pedophile, and we don't care. Fuck you and give your children up. I mean that's I'm exaggerating now. But the thing is, that's what it could get to. It gets to the stage where they simply take us to a new level or a new normal, right? And that new normal is that if you think about how radically the world changed when the Nazis came in control, they were not a majority party in Germany at the time, but everyone started, I don't know, going with the flow. And the soldiers said, I was only following orders, and everyone else just said that's just the way things were. And the reality is, the world changed on a dime. It spun around on a dime. And not just for the people in Germany and Japan and Italy, of course, under Mussolini, but for those of us on the other side receiving it. And those of us on the other side, those of us, not us, give me a break, I wasn't there, but my grandfather was, and my grandfathers were, and my grandmothers were. And they had to put up with a whole new paradigm. The world had totally changed. But what hadn't changed was the profit margins of people in charge. That stayed eerily consistent. And that was they were harvesting our energy all along. It never changed, never has changed. It's always been the same. But what does change is, look, we're going to give you a heads up now, guys. It's going to be a new normal. You might not know this, but your grandparents went through a new normal. They weren't told it. They weren't given those words. But we've given it a word now. It's called the new normal, and that's what it is. That, and that's basically what happened. So, the reason why I'm recording this video that I've forgotten to record many times is because don't think just because things get exposed or that we're nearing. Okay, I've said a number of videos that what we're experiencing is a constant delay tactic. I used to think, and I still do think to a degree, that it's because the powers that shouldn't be weren't quite ready yet to show their hand, right? And you add, if you've been in the truther community a long time, you may have gone down, I wouldn't even call it rabbit holes, I'll just say you've gone down paths to learn about people who have been, I can't remember, there's an old guy who calls the person who told him all the information his elite friend. I can't remember the name of the guy. He's a pastor. He got taken to some fancy places when he was younger, and he became like the official pastor of this certain people. This is for the Illuminati crowd, the 33 people. And he got a lot of insight into that other world, and I've had a lot of insight into that other world, close enough that I've actually met Ghislaine Maxwell when I was younger, and I used to work for her brothers, Kevin and Ian Maxwell, and yeah, like a lot of people who was around back then. This is back in 2001, 2001, were people who were friends of Prince Harry and Prince William. For example, a guy, actually a pretty cool guy at the time, George Galliers Pratt, and Count Gottfried von Bismarck. Right, so I'm around all these people. I know I'm name dropping right now. I'm just saying that, like, I was around these type of people, and when you have a strange compulsion or dysfunction in life, you might think that you're strange enough. Like, I like women's feet, for example. Some person says. Therefore, if they're in elite circles, it's pretty weird. So therefore, I don't mind the fact that person fucks door handles, and this person over here fucks kids. You know what I mean? I think that is how these circles end up. Well, don't judge around that. Another thing that I noticed is that a lot of these kind of exclusive parties I went to, there was always a kind of door somewhere, and usually it was bright white. But in the kind of lower class evil places that I was in, it was like bright white, and I think that was rooms that go through the crack dens. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure because I didn't go down. But other places I've seen that were I don't know. They were just. I can't even fucking. Damn! I wish I keep on doing this and I'm drunk or stoned. But it was like when you can feel the energy from a place and it's negative. Like, for example, I got taken to a massage parlor when I was 19, and I actually thought the massage parlors was actually a thing that you went to get a massage. I'm not kidding you. I was 19. I didn't fucking know. And anyway, it was like a gangster run place in Carringahope Road in Auckland. I've mentioned this in the last video. I don't know why it came into my mind quite a lot recently. That's why, because I watched a video in slavery. And I didn't realize back then, but now putting it all back together now, I realize now that the women that worked in that place were actually slaves from Thailand, right? And I didn't realize that back then, of course. Now, all I want to do is blow the doors off the place and shoot everyone and who works for the police. But I'm not in that part of the world. It's New Zealand. And by the way, if I did do that, the government would create a narrative, because it's really funny how you can have like Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand, sad face, the head scarf, pretending to be Muslim for some weird reason. And when these people who get shot, by the way, if you ever watch that video, it's completely fake. The guns are not real. If you've ever shot many guns as I have, many different calibers, AR-15s and M16s and AK-47s, I've shot pretty much everything you think of, R5s, R1s, everything, right? You'll see straight away that those guns are fake, right? And that's why the video was banned. But I'm going to move on from that straight away because it's a banned topic on YouTube, and I'll probably get another strike from this one. This is my new channel, not my new channel, but you know what I mean. The one that I haven't had as long, this topic as long on it, because the channel's actually older, because it's from 2007, this one actually. Yeah, basically, the world's an extremely dark and creepy place, and we take civilization as if it's a kind of security blanket and don't realize how fragile that thing is. When I say fragile, it's actually not even fragile. It's an illusion. It's an illusion of security. Because when they really want to change shit up, they change it overnight. And you will not know the difference. And your mother will be raped in her bed, and your fucking family will be slaughtered. Like, my family back in Poland, ex-Poland, now Ukraine, years ago, were slaughtered by the Russian Red Army when they came through. And I think that this happened from the Nazis, the Bolsheviks, and all these sort of people. They've all done it. It doesn't matter what country you're from. Your soldiers have committed atrocities, and what that is the lowest common denominator in your society being attracted to being part of a force that protects the elite. It wasn't the smartest guys in your country, but every country has had it, right? So I've spoken a lot about the fact that every government is in cahoots in this planet. We know this because every country except for Sweden, yeah, that lone voice of libertarianism, Sweden, right? Not really, right? They're a bunch of woke-tard fucks like every other country, like Scotland or like New Zealand or like every other woke-tard country in the world, right? So we know that they're all in cahoots because when you do things that are the exact same as another country, and it was not something that was coordinated, then the things that you're doing that are similar, because I can't even say the same, similar to another country, could only be made possible if it was by accident and something that kind of rhymes. It doesn't sound the exact same, it could only rhyme, because if it was the exact same, you would have to have collaboration. Because if you think about how many types of paradigms have been in this world, you think about North Korea, you think about what it might have been. We don't know what it might have been under the pharaohs of Egypt. What it may have been a Sumerian. Actually, one we do know more about is the Angkor Wat in Cambodia. So we kind of know what the society was like, and it was nothing like what we're like nowadays. Ancient Greece, nothing like nowadays. Ancient Rome, nothing like nowadays, right? So these things are all very different, which means that if you end up in two insular societies that end up doing the same thing, that are not apparently connected, then that cannot be possible, because there's so many infinite variables as far as how you would end up being, where society might steer. Even if you took society, like two scenarios, two different parts of the world, and you throw the same apparent variables at them, you would end up with a different result. And that is how random life is, right? So when you end up with the same thing, it has to be collaboration or conspiracy, right? And that's why I think that what we're entering now is something that's very, very dark. And as I've been mentioning in my videos for quite a while, and it was quite refreshing to see some other YouTubers saying the same thing today. My ex-wife sent me a video. It was really, really good. Hopefully I'll actually paste the video here. I know I say that, but I've been doing it I've been pretty good lately on pasting these videos. In the past I would leave it for like 2 weeks, but I will do this. Can you remind me to post that video from the guy I saw this morning that Vicky sent me? Thanks. So basically, he was saying a similar thing, and that what we're ending up with, and the first person who mentioned this word was Max Kaiser, by the way, so I'm not trying to steal other people's ideas, but they express with good words. Some people express with good words what others can't come up with, and I'm one of those others, right? So in neofeudalism, a word that Max Kaiser says a lot, this guy was actually saying that what we're entering is a state of neofeudalism. By the way, I've said this in my videos the last 2 years. We are entering neofeudalism for the elite and global communism for everyone else. And the reason why you know this is because the totalitarianism that we see in Australia, Israel, New Zealand, Scotland, England, America, Canada, Australia, all around the world, we're seeing the same kind of thing, and yet some of these countries are left wing and some are the right wing. We already know that in America, it doesn't matter what government's in charge, and it doesn't matter if it's Trump. If you're really fooled into thinking that Trump is any different, he carries on the same agenda as the previous people did, right? So you can't change anything. It's all set in stone, and you have the illusion that you actually have a choice, and you don't have one, right? And when that illusion fades away, and it's like, oh, well, come on, grow up, people. Look, just stand in your lines and take your shot to the back of the head, because that's what it's going to be like. I believe. And given the fact that last year and the year before I was right, and the people on Facebook who I was talking to, I got off Facebook by the way, were wrong, like totally wrong, and they've continued to be wrong and more wrong all the time, and that I can't even be bothered getting back on Facebook to say, hey, by the way, you were all wrong. It doesn't mean anything, because it's not about my ego, about me being right. It's about the sadness of the fact that I'm right. I actually wished I was wrong, and I'm not. We're all getting, well, those of us with our eyes open and those of us with instincts can see we're at a stage now where things are going down a path that we cannot change. And those of us who are in cryptocurrency, especially, it's really, really annoying. It's almost like life has been tuned perfectly for you to be a prick. Because it's like you've been sitting there waiting all these years to have your freedom, and now it's come. You've got your $100,000 or your $500,000, your $10 million, or your $100 million in some cases, and you can't even fucking spend it now. Well, you can, but you're not going to be entirely free. You know why? Because it takes at least $20 million, I think it is, to be part of the 1%, and 1% has never been the number. It's always been 0.0000, and you've heard me say that many times on this channel. 0.0001%, because that's what it is. You're not the elite if you have 20 or 50 or even maybe even 100 million. You're just a very special cow in the field, lactating a special kind of milk, so you get treated special and get, taken out in a yacht or get given your own plane, whatever it is. You're still not that special. And that's what I think the wake-up call is going to be. But it won't matter. Because you know why? Because the powers that shouldn't be have so much control because of the collective idiocy of everyone giving them their taxes for so many years and fighting their wars for so many years and fighting against each other, because you have the gullible and the ultra gullible, and the ultra gullible have actually, they're the ones who have actually hammered in the death knell, playing words, nail. Anyway, I'm a little bit drunk, so I'm not kind of sharp, but anyway, that's where I think we are. I would say have fun, enjoy it while it lasts. I'm pretty sure we're going to come up to some pretty harsh times. I'm pretty sure that things like, it's funny that I said this one at least 5 years ago now, before all this shit happened, was that this whole culture of us traveling around and going to fancy places and having the real scutters of the world go from somewhere like Scunthorpe to, and I mentioned Scunthorpe quite a lot, I don't know why, Blackpool, over to, I don't know, Skegness, over to, I don't know, Mallorca or the Canary Islands. That could never last. I always thought, it's strange the elite are allowing us to do this, but yeah, that's what's happening right now. What's happening now is they've recognized that's too much for those scum. And either we all get slaughtered, or we get put into a situation where we're majorly under control, and even if you have a few million, there'll be limited things you can spend that on, and it will not be proper freedom, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't want to get into this one too much. There's a few topics that I want to discuss on the channel, but I don't want to do now because it's well, it's like a target on your back. I'm gonna leave it there. All right, cheers, bye.